we are conditioned, most of us are conditioned when we grow up to not celebrate who we are and not brag about ourselves and not feel great. And, you know, if you do that, it means you're big-headed and arrogant. We want women to celebrate themselves, to feel good and secure and have this knowing that they are good at what they do and they do deserve the life of their dreams and they do deserve to fulfill the potential and not have to apologize for feeling like that, because that's not how we should behave as women. We want women to celebrate themselves and celebrate how successful they are and what's great about them and what's not great about them. We want people to
be unapologetic about it, you know?
Welcome to yourbrilliance.com. I'm your host, Amy Waterman. Do you feel as if everyone else is moving forward and getting what they want and achieving great things while you're stuck waiting for somebody to tap you on the shoulder? When's it going to be your turn? When is somebody going to finally notice all that work you've been putting in and turn that spotlight onto you? So many of us feel as if we've got to wait our turn. You know, maybe the kids come first, or your husband's career comes first, or someone has to retire before it's finally your turn. Now, we are good at being patient, but come on, like, when's it going to happen for us? Well, that is a question that our guests for today are uniquely positioned to answer. With over 20 years in successful senior leadership roles in the corporate world, Donna and Cheryl now run their own coaching services business. Now is your time. Their ambition is for everyone to live their best life. Clients working with them go on a journey from feeling stressed, burnt out, and doubting themselves to finding balance, confidence, and more happiness than they could ever imagine. They apply not only their 40 combined years of leadership and experience in building high-performing teams, but they also bravely share their own personal journeys and life lessons. Welcome, Donna and Cheryl.
Hi, it's so lovely to be here. Thank you for having us.
So your goal is to help your clients break free from limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, and just plain fear. How do those things hold us back?
In so many ways. I think often, especially as women, we're the caregivers. We've been living out in these roles. We've been behaving in a certain way for so many years that we don't actually even realize that they are limiting beliefs. We just think that's how life should be, that we've made our bed, we should lie in it, and we don't want that. We want you to wake up and go for the life of your dreams and not compromise on that.
And quite often, you won't even let yourself dream that this could be possible. So people might find themselves thinking, oh, well, that's okay for them, that happened to them, but that wouldn't be something that I could do. So they have these doubts in their mind that actually somebody else can do it, but that's not something that they would be able to do. But that's just fear popping in, trying to keep them safe.
Yeah, so it's this idea that we have chosen our life and that's just what we've got. So do you think this is a particular, you said it was an issue that women seem to struggle with more than men?
Yeah, absolutely. We find that more men have gone for their dreams. They're not as worried about failing a lot of the time, you know, and for many of the clients that we work with, they've compromised their happiness to some extent so that the guy can become the partner at the firm or to set his own business up, or they've upped sticks and moved to Australia so that the man can have his chance at making his business, and she's sometimes often putting her wishes and dreams and wants and desires on the back burner until his needs have been met. And I think sometimes we kind of get to our age, we're in our mid-40s, where we're like, that's not working for me anymore. You know, I really want to go for what I want and not compromise.
I think quite often as well, when children are involved, women quite often put themselves on the back burner because they're raising their families or they're a stay-at-home mom and they feel guilty wanting to go and do something for themselves because they feel like they should be putting all of their effort and care into bringing their children up, and they put themselves on the back burner.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a really hard question. How much can we expect our families to accommodate us? So let's say we have a woman right now who has a dream. She's got a husband. She's got kids. Right now, the family balance is perfect because, you know, everybody's got their roles. She's supporting them. Now she wants to pursue something on her own. How much can she expect her children and her husband to inconvenience themselves to support her dream?
It's a really good question. And I think with anything, it depends on the family dynamics. It depends on how much that dream's going to put them out. Do they have to sell their home? Do they have to move across town? Do they have to move across a country, you know? But generally speaking, what we find is the challenge is that women have ruled it out because they think their perception is that their husband won't support them and the kids would have to, you know, have a different life. And they might, if they want to set their own business up, for example, they might think, well, that means the kids can't go on holiday and I won't have money to buy them toys at Christmas. And we kind of catastrophize all of these negatives rather than just thinking there could be so many positives. And generally speaking, in our experience, when the women have then spoken to their partners and said, look, you know, I'm not really happy, I want more. And I think if I'm happier, I'll help bring more to the table, I'll help be more to the family. Most of the time what we found is the men say, thank God for that. Like I've been saying for years, you're not happy. You know, I can tell you're not happy and I want you to be happy. And at the end of the day, if you are in a loving couple, there's no reason why your partner wouldn't be supportive. Sometimes they might feel like it's going to be challenging. They might throw all the, well, what if this and what if this? And is this another fad? You know, is this another one like when you bought all the gym equipment, but then you didn't do anything? You know, let's face it, we've all done that. We've all bought the juicers and then gone to the next diet or the next fad. So sometimes it's just a case of us not being defensive about that and really trying to understand where they're coming from, and having that open communication is really key in that. But once you are really confident in yourself about what it is that you want and what you're going to bring to the table, it's easier to have the conversation from that point.
So one of the things I love about your coaching business is its name, Now Is Your Time. And I think this is an issue so many of us struggle with when it comes to opportunities. Maybe an opportunity comes up that looks exciting, but we think this may be not the right time. Maybe, you know, I need to wait till the kids are a little bit older, or maybe I need to wait until our financial situation is a bit better, or until, you know, my parents' health is better so I don't have to run over and look after them. How do we know when this is the time to pursue our dream, or maybe we just need to hold off a little bit and wait until, you know, the timing is a bit better?
So again, it's an excellent question.
When is the right time? We wouldn't be sitting here today talking about our business if we had waited for the right time. So some of it is intuition. When you have got this purpose, when you know that the thing that you want to do is something that's deep inside you, and you've just got this burning desire to go out and, for us, it's make a difference in the world, you have to be brave and sometimes make decisions and choices and cut back because it might not be the right time. But when you've got this burning and when you realize what you want to do and what you want to pursue, it takes over the decision making or the timing of things, because you just know that that's what you were meant to do, which is what happened for us.
Yeah, it's kind of like that thing, you know, when you're in your 20s or 30s, you think, oh, it might be nice to have a baby. And then one day you wake up and you can't think about anything else. That's what I liken it to. Like this whisper that was in my head about having a coaching business 20 years ago just became this overwhelming roar. And when I thought about not having it, it made me so upset, because it just felt like I couldn't move forward anymore until I explored it. But we have to give ourselves the space to do that. And the other thing for us is what we want to really wake women up to, and men in this case, is for us this came about because Cheryl's dad sadly passed away. And we were thinking about working together and thinking about what we want to do. And I just sat and thought, like, literally now is the time. If we don't do this now, what other sign is it that we're waiting for? You know, what has to happen for us to think it's the perfect time? Because guess what? There is no such thing. There is just now, and this decision and this moment, and moving towards what makes you happy. So often in our life, we're moving away from something that makes us unhappy. But actually, if you move toward the thing that just brings you joy, then the detail kind of doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another really hard question. What if you say, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try this, and you just run into one obstacle after another, you just think, maybe I wasn't meant to do this after all?
Yeah.
I'm just going to come out with a one-liner. We believe that obstacles are detours in the right direction.
Yeah. 100%.
So every time an obstacle or challenge is thrown in your way, we have to ask the question, why, not why is this being done to me, but what is this here to teach me? What can I learn from this experience?
That is fantastic.
And because if your why is still there and the reason that you want it is still there, then it's not going to come easily to you. You know, like having a baby for me didn't come easy. There was tests and doctors and, you know, IVF courses, and none of that worked. But like in my head, I still had this vision of a baby. So I wasn't ever going to stop no matter what they said. And this is kind of the same for us, our business and the business that we help our clients to set up. Like for them, that becomes their baby. That vision of what they hold in their head becomes so strong that obstacles are just something where they go, okay, how do I deal with this? I think if you come across obstacles and it makes you want to give up, don't give up, just take a rest. But what is it there to teach you? And just don't let it really stop you, because sometimes our fear is looking for an excuse. Yeah. Sometimes our fear is looking for a way out, and we just have to hold strong to what we know in our core, in our absolute heart is the path for us, and they will just fall away.
And what I love about what you said is that you said, you know, sometimes you can treat your vision or your business like a baby. And I think in some ways, when we think of our dream as something external to us that deserves the right to be nurtured and looked after, it's a lot easier for us to dedicate those resources for it. Whereas sometimes, especially if you've always been used to putting yourself last, it's very hard to say, well, here I'm so great, I've got this idea and I'm going to do all this. And it can feel really uncomfortable. Whereas if you think of your dream as a baby that deserves the right to walk and run, I think it can be a much more comfortable way to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes from within you. Like, we do feel like we've literally birthed this business. We said that at the end of last year when we were doing our reflections. We're like, we birthed a baby this year. Like, we birthed this gorgeous thing. But equally, for us, your business or your work in the world is an extension of yourself. And for us, this is about how powerfully we can serve women, how we can help wake women up to what their potential is, how we can empower them with the tools and the strategies to live into that potential and to just dream big and go for it. And if some of it doesn't work and we have to pivot, then that's okay. Like, at least we'll be trying and doing something that is coming from the heart, rather than just turning up to a job like we did in corporate and working really hard, you know, for 10, 12 hours a day, at least 5 days a week. And what was the outcome of that? What was the payoff? It was always for somebody else, for something else, for this pot of money, for these shareholders that you can't see. And we loved our work. We enjoyed it because of the people, but the personal fulfillment and the purpose was disconnected.
But just to add to that, we are conditioned, most of us are conditioned when we grow up to not celebrate who we are and not brag about ourselves and not feel great. And, you know, if you do that, it means you're big-headed and arrogant. We want women to celebrate themselves, to feel good and secure and have this knowing that they are good at what they do and they do deserve the life of their dreams and they do deserve to fulfill the potential, and not have to apologize for feeling like that, because that's not how we should behave as women. We want women to celebrate themselves and celebrate how successful they are and what's great about them and what's not great about them. We want people to
be unapologetic about it, you know. And it's, especially in England, we're always like, be quiet, spoken, you're spoken to, hush the adults, you know. We kind of keep kids in the boxes, and we're like, no. Which is why working with kids is really important to us as well, from that younger age, so that they don't have these limiting beliefs by the time they're adulting.
So talk to me about, you had mentioned imposter syndrome. What is that about?
So imposter syndrome is something really close to our heart, because I was told by a psychologist I had it kind of, gosh, how many years ago? 12 years ago or so now. And at the time I would get a great promotion, Amy, or I would be given more money, and I would go and sit in the car and cry. I bought my first house at 23 and I went and cried in the bath like every night for a week, thinking I was going to lose it. So when I would get this promotion or get more money, I was literally waiting for what I called talent police. I was thinking, any day now, somebody's going to come and say, how have you got this job? How are you leading hundreds of people? How did you get that? I just couldn't come to terms with that success. So when I was in a amazing worldwide leadership program, they said to me, you've just got stereotypical imposter syndrome. It affects high performers, it affects high achievers. You have tendencies like perfectionism, and things are just never good enough. You're very hard on yourself. You don't believe you're successful. You certainly never celebrate your success because you don't actually believe it's real. And they said to me at the time, like 80% of women are suffering from this, but you think it's who you are. Like, I had never verbalized some of these things. The psychologist was repeating back to me through this gamut of 4-hour tests and interviews that I'd done. And it just made sense. And I cried with relief because I genuinely just thought I was a crazy person. And I called this voice in my head the crazy lady. This woman said to me, who are you to come out with these opinions? Who would you be to run these teams? Who are you to kind of have 1,000 staff? And I believed her because I thought she was me. Once I realized that this was just part of my identity, part of my fear, part of my struggle to be successful, and I could speak to her almost as a separate entity, I went on this real journey of discovery, of finding out who she was, what she was about, how I could deal with her, learn lots of strategies. So now we're really passionate, one, about the education to women, to let them know that you're not crazy. It's just a voice, and it's just your inner critic, and she will try and keep you in a place, but it's just because she's worried that you're going to get hurt. She's trying to keep you safe and protected. It gives you a different relationship with your fear.
It takes it out of being your identity rather than, Donna, you thought of time, I am crazy. Okay, that's just my crazy lady speaking. I can choose to thank her for the help she's trying to give and let her pass on by and choose a different thought.
Choose again.
I love the fact we all have a crazy lady inside us. That's so true. I totally identify with that.
Yeah. And sometimes she pops up in relationships saying, who are you to have this guy? Like, he's way too good for you. Sometimes it pops up when we're parent and going, you see, you don't know what you're doing. Look, you've made your child cry. You're a really crappy mom, like it comes up all the time for us. So it's just about hearing that voice, acknowledging it, identifying it, and really going, okay, that's not who I am. That's just this voice in my head, and I can choose to do something differently about that.
That is fantastic. So you not only offer one-on-one coaching, but you've got group coaching services. And I was particularly interested, you do group coaching services around body image and weight as well.
Yeah, so we have run a program on that before, which was really interesting because, again, for us, it all comes down to mindset. So what we found is most of the programs out there are trying to control your calories, your exercise, your activity, and that's all really important. But actually, before all of that was why you were doing that in the first place. And that's something that I'd worked on all my life. Again, coming from childhood trauma, my relationship with food is really complicated, and it actually has nothing to do with measuring calories. That doesn't help me. Understanding my triggers around food and what that emotional eating is, where is it coming from, and what's that about, and how do I change that pattern of behavior was always more important for me. And the current program that we're launching is called The Real You, which is all around helping women find their authentic selves, helping them reconnect, because a lot of the time we feel really lost. We're second guessing ourselves. We've got all these thought spirals going around in our head. And again, just bringing it home and saying, okay, well, let's dig deep, and let's find your identity. Let's help you work out for yourself who you are, what's important to you, what your values are, what your purpose is, what your mission is, and what makes you feel fulfilled. And over 6 months, we take the women on this journey to really live in their best life.
And the core part of that is rewiring their mindset. So everybody has an inner critic, a voice that isn't serving them. So we help them to tap into that and to choose different thoughts so that they start to rewire the mindset. So the majority of the thoughts that they have are positive and that are helpful rather than something that's holding them back, the fear.
Yeah. It's just crazy. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, 60,000, circa that number. And 95% of those thoughts are coming from this subconscious patterns, these way of thinking, these beliefs that we're holding and informing our actions. So a lot of the time we're doing things and we're just thinking, well, I don't like the result that I'm getting here, but we don't realize there's just these old tapes running, these old voices, these old experiences from when we were kids playing through into scenarios as adults. And sometimes we try and fix what we're seeing, but until we go deep and really take back those layers and understand what we're about, you're only ever going to get temporary fixes. So our goal is to always really empower people with a longer term solution. Lifelong results is what it's about to us.
Fantastic. And for those of you watching, if you are interested in finding out more about whether you can work with Donna and Cheryl personally, whether you want to just know about more now is your time, the group coaching, we have a link for you. Just go to yourbrilliance.org/yourtime. That's yourbrilliance.org/YOURTIME. Thank you, Donna and Cheryl, for coming onto the show. And I wondered if you had any last message you'd like to leave our viewers with.
Oh, that's excellent. We love that. Just be you, be unapologetically you, and live the best life you can. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make the most of today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you out there for watching. We hope to see you again soon. Until then, let your brilliance shine.